Hi, Nick Collier here. Hey, about 4 or 5 years ago, I went to this garage sale and this guy had stacked up in the middle of the garage about 30 of these old Army surplus 5-gallon, who knows what kind of container. It held maybe bullets or, something really crazy like that. But the guy was selling them for $1 a piece. And I was like, wow, I can't pass that up because these would make really great little wood stoves. And I really kind of had that in my mind at the time. I still have the components of the old wood stove. As I said, I made 3 last year. And let me grab the components here. So I don't have to redesign the whole thing. I just kind of take these components and make them again. Okay, our first cut is going to be this little short piece right here, and basically it's going to sit like this, and there'll be a piece coming off there and a piece coming off here, and this is going to be the bottom section of the door. And so we got to cut 45s right in on each end. And we start by setting up the power hacksaw at a 45 and put some material in and crank it up, and let's get going. Make sure we're tight. Drop the saw over the top of everything. And it would just basically stand here because it takes about, 45 seconds to make a cut. So I'm standing here for a couple of hours because I have to do, I have to do 8 of these, 16 of the 2 side ones, and 8 of the top. At the same time, we went and cut 3 times 8. What is that? That's 24. So we have to cut. My math is terrible. Once calculators came out, my whole math head just went to the dogs. Anyhow, we got to cut a bunch of these. These are the legs, and they'll fit in there. And next we'll be cutting 16 of these each side, 8 of each side, and while we're doing that, because that takes a little longer to cut, but while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and go back in and weld up the doors. So the next thing we want to do is go ahead and cut this angle. Now I ended up with this 2 by 3 inch angle. I ended up with probably about 6 or 8 lengths of that. So and now I'm down to about 3 lengths. So I ended up using it on another structure, and I cut the structure apart yesterday with my torch just to get usable parts because we're only going to do 6 inches, and I've been kind of waiting for this. I've been waiting for this structure to be useful, and so and it had just length, foot-long length. So this is a perfect opportunity. So I cut it up, and I think I'm going to end up with enough to actually make these 8. So we've got it set up. It's set up in the opposite way because one has to go this way and the other has to flip and go the other way in order for the 2 to match up. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. Drop the saw down. We'll bring it around. I'm going to miss that hole by just a smidge. And we're going to go ahead and cut this off and then measure 6 inches in, bring this 6 inches out and cut it again, and then we'll have 1 segment. Hopefully we're going to get 2 segments out of this foot and a half long piece. Okay, we got our basic shape laid out for the door. You can see the lines. They're a little bit weak, but they're visible. And since we're dealing with 1/8-inch steel, we can just drop this in the shear, and the shear will just take care of it fairly easily. I'm going to go ahead and set down, and we'll just take off one corner here. One pull. That's a great old shear. I just love this shear. I bought it actually when I was a jeweler. I'm still a jeweler, of course. And in fact, the shear, the Inco shear, is in my jewelry bench. And when I cut steel, I have to bring it in here. But anyhow, it's a great shear. It will cut up to 1/4 inch steel. And although I don't think I've ever put 1/4 inch in it. I bought it to do gold and silver, which, you know, it's like cutting butter for this thing. But it's built to cut up to 1/4 inch steel, and it handles it very well. So we're going to make a second cut. I'll set down again. And we'll just pull on this. There we go. Let's go ahead and make our third cut. There it is. There's our third one. We got one last little corner here. There we go. And there's our door. Now we can use this as a pattern, and I actually have another pattern cut here, but we can use it as a pattern and go ahead and make 6 more of these. But for right now, we're going to go in the other room, and we're going to build frames around it. Okay, the piece that I cut out just a few minutes ago goes here, and that gives us a pattern. It gives us the squared up edges, and then these little guys go in like this, and then I don't have to really worry about it being out of whack or anything, unless of course it's out of whack. Seems like it is. There it is. So that's put together. Now we're going to tack just these little top edges right here, here, and here, and get the thing locked in together, get it squared up this way, and then we can pop that back out, flip this over, and weld those top 4 corners, and we'll have a piece done. And here's one that I did just a little while ago, and you can see I tacked the 4 corners and then welded up the front edges to give us a kind of a nice finished look, and then a piece of plate will go back inside, and it'll be, you know, there's the beginnings of the door. Okay, we've welded together the 8 small frames for the doors, and now we're going to come back in and put the doors part in. First we had to cut those, of course, and that's going to go back to the shear, and we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now it's shear time. So we're going to we've already laid out our pattern, and basically I'm just going to cut it in half, not trying to catch any lines or anything, because mainly it wants to cut in half because it's not real accurate when you cut a real wide piece like this. So just kind of pull down on it. Taking little bites at a time. There we go. Okay, we got it cut in half. Now we can come in and do more accurate cuts. Just pull down, cut off the corners. A great old shear. Okay, got one piece cut. Add it to the stack.